Today's lecture is on how to use the microscope, its care and use. We will look at how we handle the microscope, store the microscope, clean it, all of its parts and how it functions, and then we will have a lab that is separate from today's screencast on actually practicing and using the microscope. So when we handle the microscope, we make sure we always use two hands, one on the arm and the other under the base. We're very gentle when we set it down, and we always use clean hands. When we store the microscope, we always put the dust cover on when it's not in use, and also make sure we handle it correctly. When we clean the microscope, we use Q-tips to wipe the eyepieces, objective lenses, and all glass pieces. Here are parts of our microscope. So when we look at our parts of our microscope, this has a lens in it. So if you would look inside when you are doing your lab, you will see this is the eyepiece that contains a lens. Inside of here we have something called the ocular lens. The ocular lens is magnified 10 times an object size. This is called the coarse and fine adjustment knobs. So basically when we look at this, the coarse adjustment knob is going to lower the arm and raise the arm. The fine adjustment knob is used to fine focus or slide. If it's kind of blurry, you would use the fine adjustment knob to make the object clear under the microscope. So the body tube is basically where we find at the end a round revolving piece called the nose piece, and we have actually three pieces here. I've just highlighted two, low objective and high objective. The reason we're called low and high is because low has a magnification of 10 times its size, high 40. We do have a smaller one that we basically use to first observe our microscope called scanning, and scanning basically has a magnification of 4. Here are stage clips where we place our slide, and underneath is a diaphragm that turns. This is going to allow a lot of light or not a lot of light in, depending on how dark your slide is. The stage is where the slide is held. Underneath we have some type of light source or mirror, and then this is the base that supports the microscope. So again, the eyepiece is where you look through to see the image. The body tube holds the eyepiece and connects the objectives. The nose piece rotates that holds the many objectives. The objective lens is called objective, notice, because this is where the lens closest to your object. So we have basically low, medium, high, and scanning is the shortest. Stage clips. The aperture is a hole in the stage that allows light in through better viewing. The diaphragm controls the amount of light that goes through the aperture. The light is the source found at the base, and the base supports the microscope. So how do we use this microscope? We always observe our specimen using the lowest power first. So this is going to be our scanning. We focus using the coarse adjustment, and then we move to our high objective if we need to. We use the fine adjustment only on high objective to fine focus our object. We try to keep both eyes open to reduce strain. When we actually look at a specimen under the microscope, we have two lenses that we must take into consideration to find out what we call total magnification. So we have one near our eyepiece called the ocular lens that has a power of 10, and then we have another one on the revolving nose piece that we have placed on our object called the objective lens. So let's take a look at how we would find total magnification. So what if we viewed our object on high power, which has a power of 40? What would be the total magnification of our object? Well, we simply multiply the eyepiece ocular lens 10 times our high power, which is 40, and we are observing an object that is 400 times its normal size. If we observe the object on low power, which has a magnification of 10, we multiply 10 times 10, so we observe our object 100 times its size. So we will again do practice with this in the lab, on the lab, so that we all know how to use the microscope.